going to talk about a little something I've spoken about previously. Let me just turn this light off, a little bit too much light there. And we're going to talk about how to present a model. If some of you guys I know out there build for other people for a variety of reasons, someone wants a gift, or you're hired to do a commission build, something like that. Well, I want to talk about the one thing nobody ever speaks about, which is the boxes that we use to create a really nice presentation for the build. I've done this on a previous video for another commission build of mine, and I'm just going to go over it really quick on what the presentation box is, and just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you want to see exactly how I make all of these boxes, or the whole process of getting a presentation box together, you can just catch it on my other video, which I will post a link to. I'll put it right here somewhere, and I'll put a link in the description of this video so you guys can see exactly how these go together. I've already got it made here. It just needs to have a couple of bits and pieces done to finish it up, so we're going to go over that now. Now, the first thing I do is I get a nice box. This is a very nice box I ordered from Amazon. It's a nice, sturdy, I think I'm not really sure, with the magnetic flap. Not really sure what it's made of. Might be cardboard, might be a plastic of some sort. Not really sure what it's made of, but I've used it in the past, and it's a very nice box. Now, it's got a magnetic catches on the inside, so that when you bring it in, you seal it, you're done. That's it. Now you can open it up, and let's just make sure I'm not knocking anything over here. As you can see here, I've already created my foam inserts to safeguard the model. Still needs a little bit of work to finish them up, but they're already there. We have our little thumb hole here so we can lift the foam up. And when you lift the foam up, there is your model. Safe and secured. It's not going to move around anywhere, which is the important part. You don't want it to move. You don't want it to be jostled, because you don't want it to risk breaking, especially if you're going to mail it out like I'm going to do with these. Now, I can take this box, I can seal it, get every direction, boom, all over the place. It's not going to go anywhere. Or I could be wrong and it could be broken in 100 pieces. Let's find out. There we go. Good as new. Then we're going to take out the second insert. And then there will be a third insert that sits here. This is to keep the trunk lid from moving around, because they do open. If you guys have been watching the channel, you're familiar with this build. This is the Fiero build I did for my buddy Romaldo, and I'm about to have him sent out to him. So I have the foam cut and layered exactly the way I want it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to be gluing a lot of the foam together so that it makes it a lot easier for him to get the model in and out. You don't have to take apart all of these layers. I'm going to turn them into one big layer that's going to comprise the first, second, and third layer of foam together, so that when he takes this out, he'll only have the remaining layers. This one is a multi-piece layer, and then he can just pull the model out without any risk of doing any harm to it. So we're going to go ahead and just start gluing these layers together. And the insert here for the wing. To finish off our box. Now, to glue it together, we're going to be using our hot glue gun. Now, the first thing you want to do is, this is what I'm using to pack the car with in the box. This is called charcoal foam. And it's a polyurethane foam, which is very absorbent and will prevent the car from, feeling too many shocks as it moves around. Really secures it nicely. I'll put a link in the video to the foam where I got it off Amazon, in case you guys want to get it. Now, But the first thing I want to do is, which is what I always do when I'm using a new material, because I've never used this before, is I'm going to hit it with the glue, and just to make sure that the heat doesn't have any effect on it, like melting it or anything like that. And if that all comes through fine, then we're going to be okay with using it on the build itself. And then I'm going to attach this to it. I want to make sure that everything glues together nicely, because I like to make sure that if I'm going to pack something up and make something for someone, that it's going to be as secure as possible, so that when they get it, there won't be any issues. And this seems to be working beautifully. Okay, that is working great. So now we know that it's going to be safe for us to put this on our actual project. So I'm going to bring back our box. Okay guys, so as to not pose any risk to the commission build itself, we're going to be using Fiero Gray here as our stand-in, so that we make sure we glue everything down in the box exactly where you want it. So we're going to put it right inside the box there. We're going to lay everything down here, nice and secure. We're going to make sure we position everything properly. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay our glue on all 4 of these individual inserts. There we go. Now we have the entire upper portion glued together. And we can lift it. Well, let's wait till it dries. Let's give it a little time to dry, and then we'll come back and lift up the entire section. Alright guys, now you can see how the upper portion is one solid piece of foam, so that everything comes out all at the same time. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to put our small insert here for the rear deck lid. Now the reason we want to do this is because we don't want this doing this while it's being transported. So this is going to take up that spot there, and then we're going to glue it right to here. So we're going to leave it on the car. So that we're sure it's going to sit right where we want it. Then we're going to reinstall the foam. And press it down there just to make sure, and you can feel the warmth coming through, that that part is going to glue itself because we can't really see it, so we're just going to have to feel our way through it doing it this way. So there we go. We're going to let that cool down a bit. And now you guys can see how it comes out. And there we go. Our insert for the rear deck lid is installed, and we will always have a perfect fit to the car. Looks really nice from here. I am trying to figure out how to make all my cuts even a little more even, because I want this all to look really professional. And you know, this is all handmade, so I'm kind of just winging it right here. But I'm getting better at it every time I do this. Alright, so that's done. Now we're going to turn the lower section into one piece of foam, which is going to be a little bit easier. clip is there to hold the front end. So there we have our perfectly packed up model. So now we're going to put our actual car in here and see, make sure everything fits. Let's give you one last look at Fiero Red because it did. I gotta admit, I'm very happy with the way it came out, and I'm gonna be sorry to see it go. I'm gonna miss this one. Alright, so let's put you right in the box. Make sure that everything is nice, safe, and secure, which is nice right there. Then we install our upper foam section, and it's sitting nicely. The insert for the rear deck lid is not pushing up, so which means that it's lined up perfectly. So I am very happy with the way this one came out. So there you go, guys. I'm gonna go get Fiero Blue ready, and then they'll be really close to being ready to ship out. But one thing I want to mention before I'm done is you always have to be very careful if you have a wing on the car or any external portions that overhang the body of the car, as you want to make sure that when you cut your space around it, it's large enough to go around everything on the car, so you don't catch the wing and accidentally rip it off when you're packing it up or putting it away. So you want the front bumpers to have just a tiny little bit of room forward and rear, and a little bit of room side to side, but not much, because you really don't want it to move much. And you want what I do is I overlay a little bit here. You guys can see that little ridge there. That's going to sit right underneath the front bumper to support it, to keep it from moving up or down. And this, which is the portion for the rear, is going to keep the rear deck lid from moving up or down. Now this overhangs the bumper just slightly, the front bumper, to keep the car nice and steady. So there will be no movement of the car as it's in the box. So as you can see, you can turn it upside down. No rattling, nothing. The car is perfectly secure. And as we know how the mail carriers sometimes treat your products firsthand. And there we go. She's still beautiful even after all that tussling around. Alright, so now we're going to finish our Fiero Blues box, and then we'll be done, and I'll show you the next step in creating a custom fancy little gift box or display box or whatever you want to call it, just to make your presentation much more professional. Alright guys, and now we have our two finished gift boxes or display boxes or whatever you want to call them. And for both cars, as they both have two different names, one is Racer X with an I and the other one is Racer X with an E, as these are what he has on his car. Now what I want to show you is the lettering which we've installed. This is done with Mrs. Onyx Fiero's Cricut, where we'll put Racer X right on the top of the box, and on the back the Onyx Fiero and Scale Models logo, or current logo. Haven't decided whether that's going to be our final logo yet or not. The same here and here. We always have to have a little bit of branding on there, not too much. And we have a nice elegant package. You open up and there will be another Onyx Fiero Scale Models on here. which this has not been installed yet, but it will be soon. And then you can open it up, lift it away, and there is your model for you to enjoy and safely store away once you're done looking at it and just enjoying it. And then when you're done, simple enough to put it all away right back in its case and keep it nice and safe. As I've said before, I like a custom model that I build to have a high-end experience for the customer when they receive it. And I think that this does a pretty good job of that. So that's going to be it just for a quick look at what you get when I build a model for you. Because it's just, I don't know. It's just the way that I would like to receive one. So I like to make sure that I give them out the same way that I would want them. And I just kind of really like these boxes. So let's put this in here because we will be applying this in a bit. All right, guys, that's it. Just a quick look at how I package my models. I'll see you on the next one.